This is question number 22 of homework 10 for chapter 9 and part of chapter 16. Illustrate and describe the effects on output and welfare if the government regulates a monopoly so that it may not charge a price above P bar, which lies between the unregulated monopoly price and the economically efficient price, which is determined by the intersection of the firm's marginal cost and the market demand curve. So before we read further, let's first try to understand the first paragraph. So we were given the marginal cost curve, the demand curve for the monopoly, and we know that to determine the profit maximizing price and quantity, we need to equate the marginal revenue, which actually starts from the same vertical intercept as the demand line. And we need to equate this marginal revenue with the marginal cost. And then the setup says that the government actually steps in and regulates a price, P bar, which lies between this P0, that's the competitive price, which is simply the intersection of the marginal cost and demand curve. Because for the competitive firm, the demand curve is the same as the marginal revenue curve. So that's the economically efficient price and the quantity equilibrium point. And this regulated price lies above that, but below the unregulated monopoly price. So assume that figure to the right illustrates the monopoly's demand, marginal revenue, and marginal cost. The economically efficient market outcome is indicated at point E0. So first, using the point drawing tool, indicate the monopoly's profit maximizing price and quantity. I think we already explained how do we get the monopoly profit maximizing price and quantity combination. So we first equate the marginal cost with the marginal revenue. That determines the output, and the price has to be beyond this demand curve. So we extend this vertically to this demand curve, and this is our equilibrium point for the monopoly EM. And 2, using the triangle drawing to indicate the deadweight loss created by the monopoly relative to the economically efficient outcome. So this is the economically efficient outcome E0. If the firm sets the price and the quantity at this level, there's no deadweight loss. But instead, monopoly chooses a price, which is here, and output, which is here. So the output is lower than the efficient level, and price is higher than the efficient level. So that generates the deadweight loss, because the demand curve actually stands for the willingness of the consumers to pay. So for this portion of the demand curve, which starts from to the right, which is to the right of the equilibrium point, until it reaches the economically efficient point. So this portion of the demand curve, the willingness of the consumers to pay, actually is higher than the marginal cost of the curve. So that means theoretically the firm can find the price which charges the consumers and still making a profit. But because of the one price set by the monopoly, so the monopoly would not do that, because by charging a lower price, you can see that the price has been lower for these consumers. The monopoly wouldn't maximize the profit. So the opportunity to sell to these consumers with this level of the willingness to pay is lost. So as from the perspective of the whole society, this is a loss, because some people would be willing to pay, and theoretically the monopoly would be able to sell the products to those consumers and still making a profit, but that opportunity is lost. because the monopoly here can only charge one price. And later on in chapter 10, when we study the price differentiation, actually price discrimination, we can see that under some occasions the monopoly can eliminate this deadweight loss because it can charge whatever price the consumer is willing to pay, and the price is dependent on different consumers. That means the different consumers may pay different prices because based on their different willingness to pay. So if the monopoly can do that, it can eliminate this deadweight loss. But here we have this loss because the monopoly here can only charge one price. And so the area which indicate the deadweight loss is this triangle, which starts from the equilibrium point. And the second point is that the economically efficient point is 0. And the final point is on this marginal cost curve. Because basically the equilibrium point, the demand portion, the portion of the demand curve which lies above this the equilibrium point, this triangle here, that's the consumer surplus. Because the consumer's willingness to pay is the demand, but the price is right here. So the consumers actually they would have paid, they would pay higher, but they are paying such a, because the price for everybody is the same. So the consumers gain to some extent because of their higher willingness to pay, and so that's the consumer surplus. And for the suppliers, for the producers, the price is here, but the marginal cost is only here. So there, this trapezoid is the producer surplus, and so in this portion, this triangle is my deadweight loss for the consumer or for the monopoly. So 3, using the point join 2, indicates the monopoly's profit maximizing price and quantity as the government regulated price setting. So the price setting is the P bar here, and under this P bar, the quantity is set by the demand curve. So the new equilibrium point is here with the price P bar and the quantity which is the corresponding output on this demand curve. So that's my ER, the new regulated point, equilibrium point. And 4, final part, using the triangle join to indicate the deadweight loss created by the monopoly with the government regulated price setting, labeled as DWLR. So with this price, the triangle which lies to the right of this price, which is a portion of the demand curve, lies to the right of the equilibrium price and quantity combination, and above this marginal cost. So the new, this is kind of messy, but you can see from what I'm drawing, this is a new triangle. So we need to pinpoint 3 points in order to pin down this triangle area. So this is my triangle. This is my new deadweight loss under regulated case. So check my answer. Fantastic. And deadweight loss with the price setting, obviously because this point lies to the right of the original equilibrium point. So the deadweight loss is a smaller triangle, which means the deadweight loss is smaller than when the monopoly maximizes the profit without the price regulation. It's the final check. Fantastic.